In today's video, I'm going to show listing agents how to photograph their own listings using nothing more than an iPhone. Stick around. All right, everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Barry the Realtor with Madsen Realty Group. And as I said, in today's video, my focus is going to be teaching realtors how to photograph their own listings using nothing more than an iPhone. Now, before I begin, one of the things that I will definitely recommend is hiring a professional photographer. So real estate is just one of my businesses that I have. Another business that I have is I have a media company that focuses on real estate photography, videography, drone work. The $150 to $300, whatever the case is going to be, that you will spend will be well worth it. Photographers that do this for a living, they understand lighting, they understand angles, they spend a lot of time editing, knowing how to get the most out of the photograph. They've invested heavily in camera equipment. I have two camera bodies that were each over $3,000 brand new. I have several $1,000s in lenses. I have a drone that was $1,500. I have lighting. Things are just very expensive, and you get what you pay for. With that said, I totally understand that there might be some new realtors out there. They got their first listing and they just don't have it in the budget to spend $300 on photography. So I'm going to show you how to get really, really good results with just an iPhone. Now, what I have is an iPhone 14. And there's a couple of things that you need to make sure that you can do with your iPhone. Number one, you have to have a newer camera, a newer cell phone that has the ability to do an ultra wide angle lens. Now, the other thing that isn't necessary, but it helps, is the newer iPhone 14 has the ability to shoot on what is called RAW. So your typical camera, professional camera, allows you to shoot in what is called RAW format. I'm sure people have heard of the picture formats called like JPEG or TIFF. Well, RAW saves the most information in the photograph, which allows you to get the most out of it in post-processing or editing. It also increases the size of the photograph. So where your typical iPhone 14, the camera might take a picture and it might be a 2 megabyte file. If I shoot in RAW, that will be like a 26 megabyte file. Why is that important? Well, the more data that is there, you can crop in on a certain picture and it still leaves you with a big enough file that if you wanted to print, you can. So just a couple of things that I'll recommend. And then I'm going to walk out, I'm going to photograph my own house. I'm not going to shoot the entire house, but I will show you a couple of different tricks and tips that you just need to pay attention to get the most out of each photograph. One of the other things that I'll talk about is drone work. If you take your family to the park and you just want to get some pictures or video, anybody can do that with a drone. However, the second you want to start profiting or making money doing commercial work, as me as a photographer, if I want to get paid, receive compensation from my pictures, I have to be licensed as such. In addition to that, that also applies to realtors. If you are going to receive compensation in some form or fashion for this photograph, you need to be licensed. If you are a YouTuber and you eventually will make money on views or advertising, you need to be licensed. So in order to be licensed for drone work, you get what is called an FAA Part 107 certification. The amount of information that you actually have to learn is pretty intense. I had to learn how to read airport charts, METAR reports, which is the weather charts. I had to learn all kinds of rules and regulations of what time I can fly, altitudes, visual line of sight. There's a lot to it. What I'm going to teach you today on how to use an iPhone to photograph a property, that does not include drone work. Don't break the law. If you want to photograph your own property, including drone work, you need to make sure that you go through the FAA certification process, okay? Now, how many pictures should you typically take? A typical package would include at least 25 pictures. Now, I have a flow that I go through a house. I always take 4 pictures of the outside, one from the right corner straight on, left corner, and then one that shows the front porch, so that's 4. The living room always gets 4, the kitchen always gets 4, the back patio area gets 4, and the backyard gets 4. So that's 20 pictures right off the bat. So that just means that between the master bedroom getting 2 pictures, the bathroom, the second, third, possibly fourth bedroom, and that bathroom and the dining room, you easily can get up to 27, 28, 30 pictures. But usually you want at least 25 pictures. I like to walk through the property and take the pictures so that it flows. In other words, I don't want to bounce all around the place. I want to start out front, do all the pictures on the inside, finish out back, and then I'm done. That way, when you upload them to the MLS, the viewer can just page through and they feel like they literally took a walk through the property. One of the key things that you want to focus on with photography when it comes to real estate is making sure that you are using the right angles. I always try to capture 3 walls. So if I'm in a bedroom, I want this wall, the back wall, and the other wall. And the same applies for a living room and a kitchen. I will get in one corner and I will shoot at making sure that I capture 3 walls. The other thing is you want those wall lines to be straight. I can't tell you how many times I've looked at photographs of real estate listings and it looks like they put the phone up in the bathroom and it's pointing down at the toilet or it's pointing down at the floor or at a fireplace. Vertical lines are very important. You need to make sure that your vertical lines of the photograph are perfect. You can do a lot of that with just proper technique, shooting, holding it the right way, but then you also want to fine tune that photograph in whatever editing software. So with that said, let me get my iPhone. I'm going to go out and I'm going to shoot a couple of rooms in my house and I'll show you the flow. All right, I am standing out front of my house, and the first thing that I would say is we start with preparation, just kind of tidying up. Like the first thing that I'll do, especially on the outside, is I'll make sure that there's no trash cans in view. I won't mess with the neighbor's trash cans, but I definitely don't want trash cans sitting in front of my garage, or even if they're on the side of the house, I'll pull them out to the curb before I shoot. Now, when it comes to your typical house, any room or the outside, I have basically a 1-minute rule. If I can't tidy up that room in less than 1 minute, then it's not my responsibility. So I will gladly move soap dishes or remotes, hide things. If there's a box on one side of the room, I'll photograph, move it to the other side of the room, photograph. But as a photographer, it is not my job to clean up a room. Yes, we can do a lot with Photoshop. Can we Photoshop out all the dirty clothes in the kids' room? No. That is up to the homeowner to do that kind of stuff. So when it comes to the outside, the front, like I said, I will do 4 shots of the exterior. I will get 1 from each angle that shows the entire front of the exterior from the corner straight on and the other corner. And then I'll get 1 that showcases the front as well. So when it comes to the settings on your iPhone, I open up my iPhone and I put it over into wide angle mode. Okay. Then I will typically hold it like this, being able to look. That way my thumb can press the button to release the shutter. And what I want to make sure I'm doing is getting the entire frame of the property, that it's not pointing up or it's not pointing down, that it is straight on. So, quick tip. I'm sure you saw me when I got out there. I looked like I set up and then I moved about 3 feet to the right. And that's because I have trash cans on the side of my house. And I didn't want to wheel them all the way out. Normally I would, but I've realized that if I just placed myself behind the tree, they completely covered the trash cans and I didn't have to worry about it. So then I move on to my front exterior shot. And now I'll move on to get the left corner. And then finally, I want to get a shot that kind of showcases the front view of the house, including any kind of landscaping. All right, let's go inside. All right, let's talk about interior preparation. As I said, I'll go through and I'll make sure I tidy up the best I can. But the next thing I want to do is I want to make sure that I turn all lights on and ceiling fans off. Obviously, lighting is huge. We want the room to be well lit. We don't want any dark shadows, but we want ceiling fans off because we don't want that ceiling fan, when you take the picture, we don't want the motion of the ceiling fan to get blurred. We want it to be stagnant, sitting still. Okay, so I will make sure I turn all of my lights on. And as I said, I'm not going to shoot my entire house. I just want to give you some tips and tricks on how to shoot each room. But my flow is I will start at the foyer, especially if it's got a nice tall foyer like this. I want to accentuate it. And now when it comes to the living room, I will get one from each corner, making sure that I capture a third wall in each one. Now, my poor German Shepherd is out front with a cone of shame around his neck, but that's all right. Okay, I think by now you see what I'm doing in each room. I'm making sure that I'm in the very corner. I'm getting all three walls and my lines are straight. I'm tidying up. I would finish my way going through the entire house, photographing the dining room, the kitchen, all the bedrooms, and then finish out back. And there you have it. So, very simple process. Like I said, if you just focus on a couple of key things, making sure that your verticals are straight and making sure that it's properly exposed, really, you can get good enough pictures. Would I do this for $1 million listing? No. Would I do this for a very entry-level cash flow type looking house? Maybe. But like I said when I started out, if it were me, I would put it in the budget to just hire a professional photographer. As always, if you know anybody that is looking to buy or sell here in the San Antonio market, all of my contact information is in the description below. I would appreciate it if you send them my way. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification icon so you get notified every time I put out new content. And we will see you on the next one. Take care.